welcome back. I was just getting a task done tonight that I keep forgetting to do. So it's kind of late and I'm kind of tired. But I'm just putting cedars in these doughs. I'm doing my 5, which is Eclipse, Pobby, Penny, Lassie, and Bluebell. And this is just because our breeding season is so late otherwise. So my idea is to breed these into September. And this will just get us a jump start on it. I'm wearing gloves because these are hormones. So we do this and a little lube. I like to use my super lube just because it's got a little bit of antiseptic in it too. It's not just a lube. What these are, they're called cedars. Trying to see what cedar stands for. I don't see it on here. Anyway, it's basically a piece of plastic soaked with progesterone. Usually you would use these and then once you pull them, you would also give an injection of PG600, which is kind of more progesterone, I think. I'm honestly not even sure. But I'm not going to do that this time because I'm not going to breed on that first heat. I'm going to let them skip it and then I'm hoping it'll just jump start the season. So it'll start in September instead of November. It worked last year just on the one I accidentally had get hers out. So I didn't give her the PG. I just let it go. And she started cycling every 3 weeks earlier than she would have normally. So figured I'd try this year. It's just cheaper without using PG and a little bit less hormones. It is a hormone, but I don't know, a little bit less anyway. So it's kind of an experiment. We'll see if it even works. But if it does, we'll be breeding soon and then have babies in end of February, hopefully. That is granted they take on their first heat. For these 3, I'm going to AI them. I like to AI all my mature does. Usually all of them, just because a certain number of them don't take. But this year I also don't really have a buck. I kept Penny's buck is all. And so the only one I can use him on is Bluebell. And he's pretty small. So I'm just going to AI all my does. Hopefully they take. I had a pretty good success rate with AI last year, so I'm hoping that holds again for this year. Even if I have to do a second cycle, which isn't ideal. But even if I have to, it's still worth it. I think I have my breeding plan figured out. I'm actually not entirely sure, so I'll have to decide that. A lot of times, not a lot of times, sometimes I change my mind even the day they're in heat and I'm going to breed them. So I never tell anyone my firm plans until I've actually done it and they're actually pregnant. You're liking the opportunity to get some grain, huh? Well, clean it up. A lot of dust down there. The other goats don't like eating. Well, hello there. I haven't really had anything to vlog, so it's a week. I think it's exactly a week after I vlogged last time. But I thought I'd just take you while I milk tonight, and I need to pull those cedars tonight actually too. They only stay in for a week. I also want to talk about what happened with Mo, which wasn't really much, so I can cover that right now. I just decided to bring her to the auction. I was considering breeding her, so I'm like, well, I should back up and say I talked to the breeder, or the vet, and she basically just said, yeah, I've seen that in some of those kids. And, I asked her a little bit more, whatever, we chatted a little bit, but basically that's what it is and nothing you can do about it. So I thought about breeding her because obviously if she has it, Eclipse is already a carrier, so probably my whole herd is full of carriers anyway. So what's the difference if I breed her and some of her kids are carriers? And then I decided, you know what, why? She's a really nice goat, but to keep her I really needed to sell a couple other does. And was she nicer than them? Probably not. She's probably about the same. And then obviously she's disabled, so why do it? So I just decided to bring her to the auction. I thought about processing her for meat myself, but I just don't think I can bring myself to do that to a goat yet. So kind of our auction is just basically where we send our culls. So never buy from auctions, because a lot of people do that. We're starting to dry up our goats. They've been fighting me for a couple weeks now about coming in, and so I was just keeping them in milk until I got my last milk test done, my verification test, so I can get all my, you know, whatever comes with milk test. If you guys are goat people, you know, we're on the STAR program this year. So I had to keep them in milk for that, and then we had that last weekend, and then I just started drying them up because they don't want to come in and I have to go catch them or whatever. They're fighting and I have to go break up a fight. So I said, forget it, you guys can dry up. So right now, I'm just milking two tonight. I'm gonna milk Claire because, well, she's mom's and she's not drying her up yet. And then I'm gonna milk Lassie. Lassie's on once a day. Claire didn't want to come in this morning, and when she gets really full, she's almost impossible to milk. But I have a trick. I have a trick up my sleeve. Voila! Overall, I think this machine is pretty wonderful, but one of the wonderful things is just how easy it is to clean. Just have my hot soapy water here. Now, you won't be able to hear me once I start, so all I do is turn it on, suck up that water. Dump this outside. I have been getting some milk into the tank, so I'm gonna purposely overflow it a little and wash it out. Now this is the actual pump. I believe if you get milk into here, you're pretty much toast until you take it apart and clean it and dry it out and I don't know what all. So it's got a pretty long line. Psh, you can't really see. And then this is kind of the safety thing to keep the milk out of the tank. So if any milk overflows this jar, it'll come down into here, and then this is the vacuum line going off. So it'd have to fill all this all the way up and then go through there. Not only that, this has a little valve in it, so if the milk level ever got that high, it would shut that off and kill the pump. So you're pretty safe. But I haven't overflowed it exactly, but I've been having like spray get in here when it gets pretty full, and when I flush the lines after I milk, makes a little spray go through this line. So I think I've got a little bit built up in here. So I'm gonna drain it, and then what you do is do like you're cleaning it and purposely overflow into that tank to rinse that tank out. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've got a bunch of water in there, so it'll overflow pretty quick, and then I reserved some of that soapy water and added more water to it, so I'm going to run that through again, and then I'll finish up with just a plain water rinse. If you're a goat person, you see me doing some questionable things, because you know about milk machines and I don't, then that's just the way it is, because I've only had this for a few days, and I've just been learning how it works and figuring out things as I go, basically. See how dirty this first stuff was, and part of that's a little bit of soap. This one, I don't know if you can see, there's still some floaties in there. I should probably run some more through and clean that more thoroughly, but I don't feel like doing it tonight, so I'll get it some other time. So it is a bit of a pain to clean, especially if you have to do an extra cleaning like that. But I think overall, it's going to be worth it, especially in the spring when I have like 9 goats milking or something. Bluebell, you're not funny. Go. So, the one other thing I don't really like about the idea of machine milking is that you're supposed to just leave these out here. Like, how clean is that to just leave these out here? and then just go plug them onto the goat when you're done, and when you're ready next time. If you got flies crawling all over here, flies going in there, I mean, you could. That don't seem very sanitary to me. So I'm gonna bring these in tonight. One of the features I'm really excited to try out, just it seems like it'd be so easy. This lid, you can put a filter right there. And so the milk is filtered as it's coming into the jar. So the idea is, I could just milk directly into that gallon jar I had there. Whoa! And then take this off, cap that jar, and go put it in my cooling. I just put ice in ice water. So that seems really handy to me, really easy. It also has a pour spout if I wanted to do that. I don't really want to, so I'm going to be saving milk tomorrow night when I milk all these does again, because most of them got milked this morning, so then I'll wait 36 hours. So when I milk them all again, I'm going to save 2 gallons. So I'm going to bring this in, rinse these out, get inside the house, and just make sure they stay clean rather than out here. And then wash this up too, and put a filter in it, bring it back out, and milk tomorrow night. I should have does in heat tomorrow, and I'm not going to bring them tomorrow, but on the next heat. So I'll probably just end this vlog here then and catch up with you later when there's more exciting stuff going on.